Okay, welcome to class today. We're going to have a very short online class about sketching PCBs. Now usually you get a question like this with a schematic and you're asked to sketch the schematic for 10 marks and you're asked to design the PCB for 10 marks. If we're going to be using Proteus, there are other softwares, but we can use Proteus, which you're already familiar with. So you will open your Proteus like that. You'll go to File, as we've been doing, New Project. Now based on, I will name my project PCB. PCB3 for me, and I will choose where to save it. Now usually during your exams you have a folder on your desktop, something like this, so you can save your PCB there, you can save your design there. You open your folder and you save your design inside at this stage. So personally I'll choose to save mine in a folder, and once you open the folder you want to save in, you click at the bottom, select folder, like that. Now you're done with this face, you click on next. Your next is to create a schematic template. A schematic is a circuit like the one you've just seen. So by default you can go with landscape A4. That is the standard size of printing paper that you're going to be using, and you click on next. Now we want to create a PCB layout, so I would advise you to select create a PCB layout from the selected template. Select default as your PCB template, and then you're going to click on next. Pretty much at this point don't do anything else, just click on next, and you click on next, and you click on next. Don't make any changes. Once you get here, ensure it is selected on no firmware project, and then you click next, and then you finish. So you can notice that schematic and layout are selected there. So now you can finish like that, and your project will open in the design window. Now it usually opens on your PCB layout here, as you can see here, and then you have your schematic layout here. So you convert from your PCB layout to schematic layout by clicking on schematic here. You go back to your schematic. You can move between the two windows like that. Move between the two windows like that, moving from one to the other. Okay, now next what you're going to do is you're going to place the components. We have these voltage generator there, we have a capacitor, we have resistors, and I think this is a PNP transistor, and then we have voltage sources, and we have outputs. So when you're designing that, you're just going to do your usual design. We can start with the voltage generator, usual type V sign. This is how it looks like. You double click on that. Next you want to do your capacitor. This is a polarized capacitor, so you can type couple. Now very important, as you're doing these things, always make sure that whatever element you're selecting has a PCB preview. Now the voltage generator, the sine voltage generator, does not have a PCB preview, but first we're going to sketch the schematic, and then I'll show you what to do about the PCB layout for the voltage generator. So now we're going to do our capacitor. make sure it has a schematic PCB preview. Once you do that, I think the next one is PNP. Now you can see that this PNP which is selected by default, which is this one, it does not have a PCB preview. It does not. So even the next one does not. But you can select any other, like this one, and it has a PCB preview. Very important. So always go with a component which has a PCB preview. Next, so you're gonna select any of them will do. At this point, any can do. Now next, after that, we're going to do our resistor. Yeah, you can see this resistor also does not have a PCB layout. So you select one which has a PCB layout. You can just scroll. Yeah, this one has, this one has. You need to be very careful when you're doing this, because you can end up messing yourself when you start laying your components. Yeah, I'm looking for a neutral one like this one called res. It's a good one, so I'll use that. And then I think that is all the components you're going to be needing from there. And then I'll press my OK. Now I'll start building this circuit. You can see the components. I'll start building this circuit. Now we'll build first. This is something I believe we've done in class. Now we'll begin with the V sign generator. I'll place it. So on the bottom. Next I will do my capacitor couple, and I will place it somewhere a bit higher like that. And next I will do my resistors. There are two resistors in this case. We have one here which we can then rotate clockwise like that, and we have one which will be at the bottom, almost in line with, and then we can rotate these, rotate clockwise like that. Make sure they're in line. If they're not in line, you come onto the component like that. You just move your mouse onto the component, right click, and you say drag object, so you can be able to drag it and place it appropriately. But then the same line, so I'll leave it there. And then now I keep placing my components. Next we'll have to place the PNP. Next we'll have to place the PNP. The PNP is in line with the capacitor here. So ensure that they're in line like that. And then I go back to my resistors. You just have to look at your design. You have to look at your design and remember what you're designing, and can rotate these. I believe it's easy enough. It's not something hard. And then we can also put the last resistor here. Okay. So now I can see that my resistors are not in sync. So I will drag this one a little bit lower so that it can be in sync. And nothing happened. Okay, let's repeat it. I will drag this one a little bit lower so that it can be in sync with this one. Next we're going to learn how to put we have a ground. You can notice we have a ground signal there, and we have V in, V out, and we have a VCC. So we're going to learn how to put that. So this is how you do it. Now on the component menu, the selection menu is this one at the end here, where we use to place our components. There's one on there, and I hope you can see where my mouse is moving. So now from the component menu, we're going to select we're looking for terminal mode. So on the terminal mode, we get ground, our ground, and our ground is located below R4, and that is where we place it, right here. Next, we're going to get an input, which will be our VCC, and it's a little bit higher. Now this is how the input looks like on Proteus. So we're going to rotate it 180 degrees like that. Okay, so don't worry too much about that. You just rotate it 180 degrees. This is your endpoint, and so this is where you'll connect your wire. Now we are going to have an output. The output is in line with the capacitor. Oh, we forgot to place another capacitor. Yeah, then we're going to place a capacitor. It's good that we remembered. Now place your output there, and we're also going to have another output right below it, and this one is going to be rotated to face upwards. Okay, so now we forgot to place a second capacitor, so we go back to our menu at the left here, and we go back to our component. So we want to take back our capacitor. Our capacitor is located somewhere there. This is where we would locate our capacitor, like that, and we let it sit there. So now next, we can see that on our drawing the resistance values is 1 kilo ohm, and this one is 220 microfarads. So how do you change that? You just click on the number and you edit it. This one, okay, you click on the other one and you edit it, and you keep doing that. For everyone. Here you have 220, and to represent the micro, you use U so that you can get the micro symbol. Okay, so you keep doing it, keep editing the labels as needed. This capacitor does not have a label, this one. So let us see if we can erase that by erasing it. Yeah. So if you delete the name of the label, then it also goes. So we want to delete the V sign. Okay. And then we want to rename V1 to V in small letters. Okay, it won't allow small letters, so we just leave it at that, V in. Okay, now that is done, we can either leave these notations don't really make a big difference. We can also add a label here. So this is going to be plus VCC. I've just clicked on the component and I've added a label VCC, and then I'm also going to click on this component and I'm going to add a label. I think you can even have default labels here, but that's not what we want to do. We want to have V out, and you click OK. Now I think our circuit is ready for joining, so I'll do that very fast. I believe whatever I've done so far is not anything new to anyone. You've already had this class. very fast. You can go through your connections. You can see that the output connects to the tail of the arrow, and you can make your connections very fast. You're going to have a sort of a junction there, so you can do that. Very fast. So this is a circuit that I think is required. Now if we go back to our circuit here, you can see that we've covered pretty much everything that was required. So at this point you can what you do, you come to your file here and you can say export graphics, and you're going to export our Adobe PDF file. Now you're going to be asked for the file name. Now choose, you'll have your folder for the KNEC on the desktop. So you're going to choose your desktop. You're going to look for your folder. For example, it will have your name or your index number. You're going to choose that folder. You're going to give it a name. So maybe you can call it schematic. And then you're gonna say save. I clicked on file name, and then on the left here I have my options. So I always click on desktop, and then I'm going to have my so once I'll write schematic. You don't have to do it again. I was just showing you where I clicked because I know sometimes I can move fast. And then I click save. Okay, now next. You can even have a colored output, it's okay, no problem. Background, you want to have a white background, or you can even have a black and white output, because we know our school printers might be black and white. Now here on the scope, you can choose just your current sheet. Don't despair about that. Rotation, X, horizontal, and just leave everything else as it is. What you change is your file name. What you change on this menu is your file name and where you're storing it. So once you're done, you click on OK, and there is your PCB. Okay, now when you go to your desktop, you'll find your folder. I'm looking for mine. Here it is. You'll find your folder, and here is your drawing. Okay, so there is your drawing. So once you come to printing, you will just print it like any other normal document by selecting. This is how you print. You'll maximize that. Because I'm trying to maximize, like that. So this is the printing symbol up here, printing symbol, and you'll press it. Since this is a PDF, it shouldn't give you too much problems. Every setting is usually already set, so you'll just print your copy and you'll select print, and if the printer is connected, it will print. Now we can close this. I was just showing you how to print it. Also, I think there is an option to add your name. You can even add your name. So what did I do is what I did. I came here to text 2D graphics mode, and I selected component, and then I clicked where I wanted the string to appear. Let's say I want my name to appear. Okay, height, and you can just just leave it as it is usually, and you can see my name has appeared there. Okay, and I can change the height, maybe increase it. So if you want your drawing to have your name or maybe your index number, your index number, and okay, we can maybe decrease that height. Then this is how you're doing it. Let's see if it will agree to that. Okay, so it's not changing the height, but at least I have my name or my index number on my drawing. Good. So now next we're going to move to the PCB layout. Now in the PCB layout, remember how to switch to PCB is here. Now before we switch to PCB, we want to replace components like these ones. We want to replace a component like this one, which does not have a PCB layout. Okay, so we want to replace these. How do we replace these? We can select, come back here to your menu, and you're going to select that, and then you're going to delete it. And once you delete a component, you delete also its you delete as well as its connections, so don't be alarmed. So next I'm going to go back to my component list. I'm going to look for a component. I'm looking for a component. I'm trying to remember its name. I'm looking for a component that we usually use to connect. We usually use to connect